San Antonio City Council currently finds itself in the heart of budget season. One of the city's toughest tasks is taking on a multi-million-dollar deficit set to impact the city over the next 2 years. District 10 Councilman Marc Whyte was kind enough to lend us his time. The councilman detailed to us the biggest budget musts, as well as some insight on Project Marvel and the Spurs' new downtown arena. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
So let's just start off. City Council is currently trying to figure out the city's budget. What are the biggest priorities and the biggest needs for District 10?
Well, the biggest needs for District 10 as well as for the whole city are really the same. And it starts, of course, with public safety. We are 200 officers short here in the city from where Chief McManus has said we want to be. And last week we had a budget briefing on public safety. Where the chief was pretty clear that the sooner we get these 200 additional officers on the street, the safer San Antonians will be. So it starts there. As we sit here today, we have funding for an additional 25 officers in the budget. I've said repeatedly we need to stick with our plan, which is to add 65 new officers in the budget. So public safety is number one. After that, it's infrastructure. You know, we have an aging infrastructure in this city. 22% of the roads are in poor or failing condition. We have sidewalks with gaps. We have drainage problems that we've seen. And so we got to get some more money into San Antonio's infrastructure to upgrade it everywhere we can.
We've definitely heard some staggering numbers in terms of the city's budget deficits. How does one even begin to touch base and fix a $20 million plus budget deficit?
Well, if you've been watching City Hall for the past 2 years, you've heard me say that we've got a spending problem. We spend too much money. We spend on things that are not related to core city services, right? This is local government. The people want to be safe. They want to drive on streets that work and have sidewalks that work, and they want to take care of the homeless issue. We need to be focusing on city issues. So as you know, about a year or so ago, I proposed this zero-based budgeting method of doing things. We've done incremental budgeting at City Hall forever, which is each year every department gets a little bit more money and government grows, and we never stop to check what we're doing. Zero-based budgeting would require each department to justify each line item expense in the upcoming year based upon the results that they want to achieve, right? So it's budgeting for results rather than just budgeting to spend money. So we've sort of started that process this year. In a lot of departments, we've found areas where we're spending money wastefully or redundantly. And so we've got to continue to do that so that we don't spend money where we shouldn't be, and we can move money that we find to our citizens' priorities. Now, if we do that, we're not only going to spend in a wiser fashion, we're also going to spend money in a way that our citizens are expecting us to, and it's going to help overall with this budget gap that you reference.
You also have been a very big advocate for Project Marvel. What's next from the city's point of view?
Well, I want to be real clear, okay? Project Marvel and the Spurs Arena are sort of two different things. Project Marvel is going to be a 15 to 20 year project involving the convention center and new hotels and a lot. Alamo Dome, you know, renovations. What we've been doing the last couple weeks has only been focused on the Spurs Arena. And that's where I've been somebody to say, listen, look at the financial structure of this deal. The Spurs are putting in $500 million towards the stadium. The rest of it is paid for by basically visitors who stay in hotels and use rental cars. And the third aspect of the funding, they call it the city portion, but what it is it's state sales tax money that the legislature has said our city can use for this purpose, for an arena. It cannot be used, this money, for streets and sidewalks and everything like that. This PFZ money can only be used for an arena in this little 3-mile radius downtown. So when you look at the structure there, and you remember that the Spurs have guaranteed to pay for all construction overruns, They're also going to put in $1.4 billion to develop the area around the new arena. When you look at all that and remember that this is not touching our citizens' pocketbook, we are not taxing the citizens to do this. When you look at it as a whole, I believe that moving forward with the Spurs Arena is something that's in the best interest of the city. And don't forget, there are only 30 NBA franchises in the world, right? Other cities are calling: Seattle, Nashville, Las Vegas. They want to take our Spurs away. We need to make sure they stay in the city of San Antonio. We also need to get the best deal we can for our citizens. I think we've arrived at a point where it's important to finalize the term sheet, because guess what? The citizens get to decide, not city council. There is a vote in November that will determine if this project goes forward. We finalize the term sheet so the citizens can have all the information, and then they make the decision in November.